All right, guys, so today we're talking about BMWs and what I've learned over the last 20 years. We figured it up, and it's been about 20 to 21 years. It's about my first BMW. Now, I've owned tons of cars, tons of Porsche stuff, RX-7s, third-gen RX-7s, tons and tons and tons of those. All kinds of Toyota stuff, Sequoias, Tundras. Obviously, we got some of that stuff now, Scions. I don't know, I did Corvettes for a long time. A lot of you ask, or actually a lot of you tell me in the comment sections, oh, BMW's junk, this or that. Here's my take on it. For somebody that's actually owned more BMWs than you can count, what exactly is the situation with these cars? So what you have to understand about BMWs in the first place. One thing is, it's not a car you could work on. It's not a car you could drive and not work on. It's just not that car. Most cars are not that car, whether it's BMW, whether it's Toyota, whatever it is. Some cars could run with problems longer than other cars. BMW, if it has an issue, it must be fixed immediately. It has no margin of error for that. Now, a lot of you guys in Europe say, well, cars here don't break as much as cars there. It's just not true at all. Cars here get driven a lot further at one time than cars there. Depends on where you're at in Europe. Most of your trips are very short. Here you could drive 4,000 miles in one run with it. And that's just one way. Then you turn around and come back. Like, most Europeans don't drive like that, those kind of mileage. Also here, the heat in the summertime is brutal, absolutely brutal. If you're gonna have a water pump failure, if you're gonna have a coolant hose bust, it's gonna be in that time, right? It's not gonna be when it's 70 degrees outside. It's gonna be when it's 100 degrees outside or 103 at the hottest part of the day. That's when you're gonna have a failure like that. Now, on the other side of that, the extreme cold, here in Missouri, we've seen temperatures, I don't know, way, way, way below 0 Fahrenheit. And as we've seen on the Porsche, on the Cayman, the first night I left it outside this year was 2 weeks ago. And the first night it got cold, it ruined the battery. These AGM batteries cannot take cold weather. And a lot of you guys, I've had the same AGM battery for 100 years and all this nonsense. It's nonsense, right? Every single car we get in with AGM battery, once the cold weather comes, it takes it out. It took the Cayman battery, took my mom's X3 battery out immediately. I don't know why it is. They just don't deal well with cold weather. So the fix is definitely go to a flooded cell battery. That does fix that problem. They're inexpensive and usually get 5 to 7 years out of one of those. You can't really ask for much more than that, since most of the batteries to buy right now are about $60. So there is that. Yeah, cold weather, extreme cold on interiors definitely is harder than everything, especially window regulators and door handles. That's the two biggest things. The biggest thing you could do, the worst thing you could do on a BMW is when it's wintertime outside and it's all iced up and you try to roll down the window and the glass is frozen to the seal, it'll shear off the regulator. That's not only on BMW, that's on anything. Actually, BMW usually is a lot better. E39s and those cars, it's just pinched, the regulator just pinches the window. So if you don't overly tighten the bolts, it'll just pull it off the glass and not break the regulator. You just take the panel off and screw it back on. The Cayman will break window regulators if you let it out. The G-Wagon will break window regulators if you let it out, if you use it when it's that freezing. The Sequoia, I don't know. I've never broken on a Sequoia. Scion will break them. All that stuff will break. The moonroof is probably the number one thing when it's freezing cold outside. If you try to put that back, it'll snap it. Remember, a car is left outside that has a moonroof, a sunroof, a moonroof, a panel roof, especially a panel roof. As it bakes in the sun, it's deteriorating the plastic arms and everything in it. As soon as you try to open it, it'll shatter the arms and bust it. BMWs are not meant to be left outside. And most other countries, the U.S. is one of the very few countries, a lot of people garage their cars and keep them inside. Most of the rest of the world, their cars stay outside almost all the time. And if you're in a really wet climate, that opens you up to a lot of leaking problems. And Philip's been experiencing the BMW wet carpet situation that every freaking one has. And if you don't have it right now, don't say anything, because you'll probably have it very soon. Is BMW a bad car? No, it is not. It does take more maintenance than tons and tons and tons of other brands and other models. That's for sure. There's no hiding that. The only thing that takes more maintenance would probably be a Jaguar or a Land Rover, would be the notch above BMW for maintenance. As far as Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, and Audi, BMW takes more maintenance and costs a little more to run than most of those other brands. But it is what it is. So what I learned in the last 20 years of doing this, I would say BMW has some very interesting engineering. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it very wrong. Most manufacturers have those cars that are good and bad. But I don't know. That's the thing. With the ISTA stuff, E-System, all the new the software stuff coming out that came out, all the new stuff that keeps coming out, it's trying to essentially pull a Tesla to where they don't want you working on their cars. They're going to try to force you to bring it to the dealership. I think it's very wrong for them doing that. I think that's the beginning of the end of BMW doing that to their loyal customers. It makes it hard on me. It makes it hard on anybody else trying to work on stuff or even trying to make videos for you guys, because you have to buy stuff that doesn't really exist, and it's a pain in the butt, right? While the other cars, we never have a problem with any of that stuff. As far as modules going out, most of that's from water leakage. But modules still do go out for no reason at all, especially GM modules, body control modules. That stuff just fails at random. But like I said, if you keep it inside of shop, 95% of those problems will go away. If you do the maintenance, it is a lot easier to own these cars. If you're a total Neanderthal and just like breaking stuff and don't pay attention to anything, and you buy a BMW, things will not work out for you. It'll empty your bank account in 2 minutes. So if you're scared of the newer technology and you want something very simple to work on, our M3 for this very second, well, from what I hear, it may not be for sale very much longer, but it's for sale right now. So if you're interested in a little bit of older technology that you could actually wrench on yourself with no computer issues, this would be the way to go. So I'll put our email address in the description of this video, and the asking price on this is $13K. This is a 97 M3 5-speed manual with 170,000 miles on it. Black on black. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all very soon. Have a good day.